Hmm.
Hello, Terry. How are you doing?
Yeah, mate. Sorry, you caught me mid-swallow there.
Oh yeah. What are you having for your tea?
No, just finishing up with a Yorkie at the moment.
Yorkshire pudding.
No, just a Yorkie, chocolate
Oh,
bar.
Yorkshire
Just Yorkie.
chocolate bar.
Great.
Right. How are you?
Mate, I'm good. I'm knackered. Rugby tournament yesterday took it out of me, but I've just been resting up all day today. At some point, I need to go out and get some fresh air.
You've been doing your old Bill Bowman, have you?
Nah, more Ellery handling.
Oh, winger are you, Terry?
Nah, but I like to think I am. You know what I mean? Too much running at my age, mate. The joints are killing me.
Uh, yeah. Good man, good man. A lot's been going on in the sport of boxing, but before we start, can I get your take on the Johnny Fisher victory over Alan Babic?
Mate, this is an absolute waste of time. Alan Babbage he's been done at least since the pandemic. Like he's had no career momentum. And so they just reheated him to sell to the Bosch army. And that's what they're going to do with Johnny Fisher. They're going to get him in with guys that have names but are massively vulnerable as
Yeah,
long as Johnny keeps selling tickets. If he's doing 7,000 at the Copper Box, they'll just keep feeding him stiffs.
yeah. I'm hearing Dave Allen's in mix to fight him.
Look, if I was a third or fourth tier heavyweight right now, I'd be putting my hands up to fight Johnny because that'd be a decent payday. Good
Yeah,
exposure, decent payday. You get to box on TV again. Why not? If you're Nick Webb, you'd come out of retirement or semi-retirement to do that.
yeah. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. 12-0 now, Bosch.
Mate, they're gonna milk this. You know, like they're gonna do with Campbell Hatton and like they try to do with Conor Benn as well. They're just gonna milk it for as long as they can until they have to put him in with someone.
Do
If
you
they don't
think
have to put him in with someone, they won't.
do you think that Tony Bellew lost his marbles when he said that he's ready for big freeze and Wardley beats them now and all that? What is all that about?
You know what? I didn't watch all the boxing yesterday because, quite frankly, I didn't care about the card. I thought it was a card that conned the fans, but it just so happened that I kind of watched the football, taking a nap, and then caught the tail end of that. It just sounds like they were all reading off scripts. It's like they had a production meeting beforehand, and they were told, "Look, when Johnny wins, these are the things you have to say." It felt like, remember when we used to call Johnny Nelson Company Man? It's like Bellew's just worn the company man's suit. Just Johnny left it and Tony's wearing it now. Because there was a time when Tony Bellew was the guy you wanted to hear give his opinion. And now you're just like, it's not worth it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So what do you make of it all then?
It's the part of boxing I don't care about. It's like the pop idol version of boxing, isn't it? Hearn finds someone from the midst of nowhere. This guy's a university student. Like, from what I can understand, didn't really have a lot he had to overcome in life. You know what I mean? His old man's concocting some kind of story like he was one of the foot soldiers, should have been the rise of the foot soldier, all that sort of nonsense.
Yeah, yeah,
It's just a soap opera. It's a boxing soap opera that will come a cropper eventually because he's gonna have to fight someone like a Bacoli at some point, and then the truth will come out.
yeah.
But one thing I will say though, Russ, like when I talk to lads who have sparred Johnny Fisher, one thing they do say is he's heavy-handed.
Yeah, he
So there's
is.
no question that he's heavy-handed. It's just what are you going to do against a guy that doesn't want to be hit and will quite like to hit you back?
He's one of them big old farm boys that you get in school that, he saw he's just a big dummy. But he's one of them in that can lift about 10 bales a day above his head, more than tractor. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
He's one of them, innit? Big old farm boy with his cornbread. You know what I mean? Hillbilly. He's a big hillbilly, isn't he? Only thing missing off him is some dungarees.
Yeah, that's what he is. He's a big lump that can throw shots, right? But
Elmer Fudd, isn't he? Big Elmer Fudd, mate. I mean, he is a character, but they're not going to put him near any danger. I mean, if you're talking Wardley and it's big three, you might as well talk Joshua because they're all about the same level.
Yeah,
Aren't
exactly.
they? They're not going to put him near any danger if he's doing 7,000 tickets. I think, yeah. No. What's that, Mark? Say £100 a pop. If he's bringing 70 to the table, that means his opponent can get 10 at least, doesn't it? There's plenty in
700 grand.
Sorry, 700 grand. Sorry, yeah. So it's a lot, isn't it?
Yeah, but I will say this: though, I'm happy that the copper box is being used for boxing. If they use that regularly for boxing, good, because that's what it was designed for.
Yeah, but I can get behind him now. He's done Babbitt. Can you?
No,
you're not having it, Terry.
Nah, he's 12-0 and he hasn't fought a rival. Like I always say, like by the time you get to 12-0, you need at least one of your kind of domestic rivals on your record.
Yeah.
But we said this about Hatton. We said this about Conor Benn. Hearn keeps all of his guys away from domestic opposition for as long as he can.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I guess. Well, his dad's done well for him, hasn't he? Big John Senior.
You know me, Russ. I can't get behind the whole boxing soap opera thing. Put him in with someone. Because what's he like? He's 12-0 now. You can put him in with a lad like Jamie Shakiva. You could put him in with those sorts of guys who are under 10 bouts but are more experienced from an amateur perspective. Put him in with some of those lads. You know, Moses Jolly and all these sorts of people. Put him in with guys who also have a point to prove. And then let's see where he's at. I don't mind if he wins or loses. I just want to know where he's actually at against people who want to fight him.
Yeah. Yeah, I see what you mean. Where does all this leave Dillian Whyte? Because he's putting his Senate mix again, isn't it, last few days?
To fight who?
He's saying he wants in with any of them.
No, but who do you want to see him in with?
Well, are they going to work with him? Because he upset the apple cart, didn't he, before?
Hearn will always work with someone. If he can make money, he'll always work with him. It's just a question of who the fans want. Who do you want to see Dillian in with now?
Well, he's been in with Joshua. He's been in with Fury. So he's been in with Chisora. He's been in with Parker. There's nobody for him to go in with. Been in with Dave.
Coley.
Yeah.
Coley a push or Coley. Yeah. Any of those guys, maybe. But they're not going to give him the money that he wants. That's his problem.
They'll take that in an heartbeat, won't they? Joe G and Big Lawrence.
Yeah, but will that give Dillian the money that he wants, though? Because Dillian's not taking less than $1.5 million to box now, is he? If we're being honest.
No.
And those fights aren't going to generate that kind of number for him.
Yeah, he's on big dough, Dillian, isn't
he? Yeah. And the problem is, a lot more people are on big dough than before. Like, if you think about this, you've got Joshua on big dough, you've got Fury on big dough. There's no debating that. And then now we've got Feed Usyk as a heavyweight, so that's going to take a lot of money out of the pot. And then if you look at all the other guys coming through, Dubois has kind of taken Dillian's spot in the $1.5 million plus kind of bracket. So where does Dillian fit in? He doesn't. Dillian's in that next level down now with Joe Joyce and Derek and that, and they might be on like $500,000 plus for their purses. Can he live with that? I don't know.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see, isn't it? Well, do you think Fury's going to fight Usyk, Terry?
So I've said it's not going to happen in December. What happens after that, I don't know, Russ, but it's definitely not going to happen in December. Because there's a whole process Fury has to go through. Or when he realizes he's not invincible and unbreakable and the greatest of all time, all the stuff that he was brainwashing himself into believing. So he's got to go through that process. then he's got to come out the other side determined to right or wrong. I don't know if you can do that between now and the end of the year.
Well, at top 10, there's only Jared Anderson, Caballero, and Usyk who are undefeated now.
All small heavyweights as well.
Caballero and the other one, but Anderson, they're not big men, are they?
No, Usyk's not big either. So we're moving into that era, I think, of just smaller heavyweights. And one of the reasons I give for that, Russ, is, and it's taken us a little while, that we've moved away from what I call the Mayweather era, where judges were rewarding that kind of scientific boxing, punch picking, moving, slipping, sliding. And we're kind of back into what we used to like before, which was punches and bunches. And judges are rewarding that. And a lot of these big guys aren't picking up on the trend, but the little guys are. And that's why they're able to keep picking up rounds, because they're just letting their hands go.
Yeah. Well, what do you think to Joyce against Derek, combined age 80?
Do you know what, mate? Why not? If the Saudis are going to take everything else, why? This is what we've got in the UK. We've got to take it.
Yeah. I mean, they're not putting as many shows on as they have been in the UK. It's all going over there, isn't it, Terry, now? All big stuff.
Mate, when you chase the dollar, this is what happens. You were seeing it in football. We're seeing it in American sports, where it's about taking your product abroad. What's going to happen eventually, Russ, is these things are going to become unaffordable for the people who have basically built these sports up, the working man and the working woman. These things are going to become unaffordable. And when that happens, young boys and girls are not going to grow up wanting to be boxers, rugby players, footballers, etc. And sport will die.
Yeah.
Like, I look at your kids' generation, like Reggie and that. Can't imagine them boxing, can you?
Now, can it? They're all glued to their iPads. They're like slugs, all of them. Him and his mates.
iPad's cheaper than a boxing show.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
They're in the bedrooms glued to their iPads like slugs.
That's your problem right there, Russell Hartley, mate. That's your problem right there. These young boys are growing up with KSI, Logan Paul, I Show Speed, and all these other kids who are just making videos and making money off it. Why am I getting punched in the face to make less money than they do?
Yeah, sending me text messages for money for that prime drink that they had going, that KSI. Yeah,
which is now like 50p a bottle.
Having been running around for that. I could have wrung the pair of them's necks that week. It were about for 3 or 4 weeks. I could have wrung the necks, the problems they caused over that drink. A pair of them. Twins.
Yeah.
Terrorised me for money for that. I've never seen that like it. Screaming the house down. And other kids were like it. The friends. What is all that about?
Mate, they took the same energy they had in boxing and turned it into drinks.
Well, yeah, that's what they did.
They're smart men. I don't care what anyone says. They're smart men. They sussed it out, Russ. They realized once you build an audience, you can take them wherever you want.
Well, they had my kids on hook, wanting a bottle of that a day. Jesus. Derek is 41 in a couple of months. Chisora. He's been knocked about and that, hasn't he? He's done a lot of rounds. He took punishment. Where's he going? Where's
as long as people offer that man 6-figure paydays, he'll keep boxing.
He's had 324 rounds. He's took some hammer. He's had hammer, hasn't he? He meets everything with his face, doesn't he?
Yeah, mate, that will never change.
You know, he's there to be it, and Fury's put some damage on him. He's fought a lot of people, but he's not beat any champions or anything, or former champions. But you know,
I think if you consider everyone who's won a world title since Derek made his debut, the fact that he hasn't been a world champion is actually a disgrace.
Yeah. Bad matchmaking, bad timing. Was good enough, but bad timing and A lot
bad
of
management, all of that.
else though were parked up. They're still parked up, man. You can be mandatory donkeys, can't you? I mean, do you remember when you were fighting for mandatory slot against Pulev in Bulgaria? I was there ringside. And look how long it took for Pulev after winning that fight to actually get to fight for it. You know, they've got to speed it up, haven't they? You can't just fight twice a year or Fury once every 10 months. I can belts keep moving.
Well, no, that's not the issue, Russ. Like, fighting twice a year is okay if all the belts are moving around at the same time, right?
Yeah.
It's when the belts get tied up. It's why I keep saying to people, this undisputed and unified stuff doesn't mean anything. Like, they'll have you believe that two people fighting each other for the unified thing is worthwhile. But it's only worthwhile if it's like number one and number two fighting each other.
Yeah.
You see what I mean, Russ?
Yeah.
You know, like when Fury and Usyk fought to unify, that's a fair fight. Like, yeah, I get it. But can you imagine like Usyk having to unify against Caballero? Like, who cares?
Yeah. Yeah. Just looking at top 10 here: Joshua, Fury, Dubois, Joyce, White, Wardley, Chisora, Huey, Fury, Big Freeze, Johnny.
Why is Huey in the top 10?
Huey's 8. I don't know.
Why?
I don't know. That's what BoxRec was saying.
Well, it's not based on recent activity. There's no way it can be based on recent activity.
Well, he's had 2 wins, hasn't he, Rick? 2 quick wins recently, hasn't he, Huey?
Against who?
Well, Johnny Fisher's just had, he's slotted in at number 10. What's he done?
Put Huey in with Johnny Fisher.
Johnny Fisher and Huey. That's a good fight, yeah. Isn't it?
Why not? Let's see who's got what. That's a good fight. If Huey really wants to do this boxing thing, he'll make easy work of Fisher. Imagine if Fisher beats Huey Fury. It's a wrap.
What if Fisher loses? He can come back, can't he? So it's a win-win for Fisher, isn't it? That.
Yeah. So look at what he's done, mate. 13th fight, he's fighting Huey Fury. Who else would do that? It's a great story.
Being headliner, I want it on the zone. That.
No, 100%.
Where do you see Wardley going, Terry? Because he come from nowhere, didn't he? And sort of like quiet now. Where do you see him going now? Do you see him and Big Freeze having it again?
I think he had to recover from that fight. That fight was probably harder for him than he thought. Has he signed with Bricktop?
Hey?
Has he signed with Warren now?
I don't know, but I had Big Freeze winning that fight. Did you?
No.
Did you have Wardley?
He got dropped. I think it's hard to win a fight when you get dropped.
Yeah. Well, it is what it is. But Joyce against Derek, I think Derek's pissing it wind if he thinks he can do Joyce. Do
you? Depends what version of Joe's left.
Yeah.
Like he's had 2 horrific losses to Zhilei Zhang. So let's see what's left. There's a guy Dillian could fight. Let him fight Zhang.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Easily. Zhang's a good fight, isn't it?
That's a good fight for Dillian. That's a fight where, like, if you really want to be back at that world level, that's the fight you take.
What do you see happening with Joshua and Dubois, Terry?
Ooh.
Who are you going to go for? Because you're a Don Charles man, you aren't you?
But Don Charles is at the heart of all of this, though, because Don's trained both guys, right?
What,
so Don, yeah.
Well,
yeah, Don's got videos of him training Joshua from like, I think it's between like 2011 and 2014. He's got hours of footage of Joshua. So he knows Joshua's real character. He knows AJ. And so he can give Daniel that confidence, which is, look, here are the bits you can attack in Joshua, go for it. And the thing with Daniel is you just get the impression that you can't get to Daniel in terms of mind games because he doesn't even know that the mind games are being played. So there's nothing you could really do apart from fight Daniel, if I'm being honest with you. And that's going to be Joshua's real question. Well, actually, both of these guys are going to have to show they're fighting hard when they face each other in September. They're going to have to show a real fighting heart, because when the heavy bombs come in, I don't think either guy can take shots easily, but they both throw big bombs. So it's going to be that kind of who's the tougher guy.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you think to Joshua going all roadman? He turned into Big Meech, didn't he? Do you remember? At that face-off with Triple D.
Yeah, mate. He did it for you.
He went into roadman, didn't he?
But he didn't. If you watch that video, like, you notice that Dubois never took his eyes off Joshua. And Joshua never fixed his eyes on Dubois.
Yeah, I think Joshua bottled it then, Terry.
I don't think it's not fair to say he bottled it, because he's not that guy in the first place.
If Dubois were bearing down on me, what do you think I'd do?
You take your leather jacket off and put it back on again.
Yeah. I said, listen.
Driven an hour to get here.
Yeah.
Get yourself around corner.
I forgot that it's got zips on things. You have to undo zips first so it won't go over its fucking sleeve, will it? I'll wrap my head anyway, I forgot. He's lucky I didn't listen, mate. He's lucky when all camera the people were filming stuff, because he would go in, mate, for a swim in.
He's chatting knackers.
He were going in back of Max's Volvo, mate. I'm telling you, he were going. He were coming with us.
For a little chat.
I'm telling you now, we're very fucking lucky that Clifton Mitchell and them were protecting him. Want you, big Clifton? We're all right, Clifton. I like him. But they've got a job to do, haven't they? Right. Anthony Yarde, Terry.
Tough position he's in right now.
He's they're saying that they've not done their homework with contracts, aren't they? Him and Tunde.
I can believe that, because this can only really revolve around one thing, Russ. How many fights did he have left with Frank?
Yeah.
And it looks like he may have had more fights. Now, the problem is...
You can have fights with Frank, but if them fighters are not in a certain ranking, it don't count as a fight. This is his get out, and he's done it before with other people. You know what I'm on about, don't you?
Yeah.
That's what I'm assuming, looking at it, because I used to scour them contracts when I was at Dennis's, go through them with a fine tooth comb to look for little things that they slot in, and they're classics. Them, he did it with Robin Reed, and Robin was saying, "No, my contract's over," and they were saying, "Oh, that white fight there were a tick up on it. It don't count as like a fight and all that." Listen, they know all the tricks. But if you've got to read your contract, if you've got to read it, I'm telling you, the lengthiest, like Yellow Pages. A brick top contract is like the Yellow Pages in thickness.
You still got to read it, though. Well, I don't know why no one read it and said, well, mate,
they've not done the job. Anything like that, you should just send back. So listen, we're not paying lawyers to go through that. Send something appropriate, or work on an handshake like Dennis used to do with a lot of promoters, like Phil Jeffries, people like that. We'll just work on an handshake.
No, you can't work on a handshake, Russ. Sorry, mate, this is not the scrap metal trade. You can't work on a handshake, because the minute you work on a handshake is when people get lawyers in. Get it all right and done up front. Get that contract watertight. As soon as you sign it, you should know what you owe, what's owed to you, how you can get out of that contract. If you don't know those three things, don't sign a contract.
Listen, I remember Sheedy not saying, Dennis not get it. It's not Sheedy. Sheedy against Tommy Langford. They said Sheedy didn't come out dressing room at a certain time, so they fucking didn't pay. Dennis had a right fucking carry on with Bricktop and board and that. They don't, because the adverts or something on Box Nation. Listen, they'll pull anything. It's the wild, wild west. You've never seen no like it. For liars, vagabonds, charlatans.
Nah, Russ, no, I have seen it. If you ever see music contracts, they're worse than boxing contracts.
You know, I've seen some shockers. There's fighters out there getting about 11%. out of everything. 11% after
Out of what?
out of everything, when everything's all been took out and tax man and everything, they're left with like 115 grand out of £1 million, some of them. You know what I mean?
Don't read their contracts. That's why.
You know what I mean? It's scandalous what's going on. This is why fighters, in my opinion, should manage themselves after 3 years. They don't have to give nobody note then, do they? They pick their own fights.
But you can't, Russ. And the problem with managing yourself is, okay, let's say, Russ, let's say I'm like Dennis, right? And I've managed for 20 odd years. I know the market better than anyone. Yeah. I know what people get paid for every kind of title fight. I know what the right terms and conditions are. That's why people go to Dennis to be managed, because Dennis knows the game. If you self-manage, where do you get that knowledge from?
Yeah.
Because I want to know, if I'm fighting for a world title, I want to know whether my fight is realistically a £2 million fight or a £5 million fight. The promoter is going to tell me it's 2 mil, but my manager may say, no. I've seen you guys make 10 million off lesser talents than my fighter. So, put the money up.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting, isn't it? Very interesting. Max is fighting on Big Ron's show.
Which one?
July 20th, I think.
No,
Adrian King
good luck to him.
Well,
yeah, but I say good luck to Max.
Yeah. Good luck, Max. We want you to win. Bring it home, Max. But £308 is not a good weight, Max, to get in the ring at. Just letting you know.
Hey, listen, he's stopping people with body shots, sir.
Nobody will be able to stop Max. He's like an oak tree. I'm thinking about telling Dennis to change his name from Hercules to the oak tree. Because you can't call Max Hercules, can you really? He ain't got a muscle on his fucking body, has he? So you can't call him Hercules, can they really? It's an insult to Hercules, isn't it? Sorry about that, Max. Me and Max trundling down motorway. Max pulls in, petrol station, goes in, comes out with 2 ginsters, gets in, eats them, and says he doesn't know why he's putting weight on. Old Max, bless him. We roast him on here, don't we? Do you see Yarde going all way then and losing his lolly like Ricky Burns?
If he's smart, man, he'll come back to the table, apologize, and go, look, how do we make this right? That's what he would do, because you're outgunned. Do you know what I mean? And Frank's been here before. Like Frank will, he'll make your life hell.
Yeah. Yeah, Frank loves that legal nonsense, doesn't he? He loves it. He loves to flex his muscles. You know, when he left school, he had a job, didn't he, as a clerk, didn't he, at a solicitor's. It's in his book. So he likes all that legal nonsense, old bricktop. So you can't blame him anyway. He's fought his fucking corner. The guy's been shot and lot. Michael Myers couldn't put him away. You know what I mean? He's the bogeyman, isn't he, Frank? The comeback kid.
This is one of those where you need calmer heads to prevail, Russ, where you're just thinking to yourself, why not just sit down and go, well, what do we do? Because where's Yarde going to go?
Yeah.
You see what I mean, Russ? Where's Yarde going to go? He can't go to Matchroom because Frank's going to be like, look, you can't work with Anthony Yarde because we ain't going to approve him for a Saudi show. Now Eddie's like, well, if I can't put him on a Saudi show, how do I get my money back on him?
Yeah. Chris Eubank Jr. and Canelo chat. What do you think?
Good fight. I'll be happy with that.
Would you?
Yeah, 168, Eubank Jr. Why not? He's deserved that fight for a long time.
Yeah.
And I don't mean in terms of, I know people go, oh, he's never won a world title. He hasn't beaten 100 ex-world champions. I know it's easy to say that sort of stuff. But Eubank Jr. is one of the biggest stars in boxing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know how you cannot let that happen.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens moving forward with that one. Do you think that Liam Smith's heading out the door if he loses to Josh Kelly?
Yeah, take that Saudi cash while you can, right?
Yeah.
I think we're getting to the end of the Smith era now, aren't we? Because Callum doesn't seem interested in it anymore. Liam's getting on a bit, and the other two brothers are kind of behind the scenes now, aren't they?
Ladies and gentlemen, the Smiths, the Beatles of boxing, we were told.
They used to love all that.
You are.
You used to love all of that.
I was Paul Smith groupie, one back in the day.
Yeah, Paul Smith. Yeah, a well-marketed family that didn't really achieve what we were promised.
Yeah, Paul Smith. Do you remember when he fought Andre Ward? Paul Smith, and he got on scales half a stone heavier.
What do you weigh in? He weighed in like 176 pounds.
He was £7 over exactly, wasn't he? £7.
Yeah, and then didn't Ward stop him? It stopped him because he was like, "This is unprofessional."
Ward beat him up, didn't he? Basically, they just used him as target practice. Basically,
Sent a message to Carl Froch saying you don't want the rematch.
Yeah, Ward didn't want to come to the UK, did he?
Carl had to go over there. Carl was actually scared. He was like, "You better not put me on a plane. I don't want to fight Ward."
Listen, Ward had the chance to come to the UK, and he said no.
But why would he have to come to the UK when he was the winner?
Because it makes it even, doesn't it?
No. No, they could fight on the moon. Like, Carl could never beat Andre Ward.
You never know.
I reckon you could have put Carl Froch's hands in buckets of concrete and let it harden and dry, and he wouldn't have done a thing to Andre Ward.
No.
No.
What do you think to Oscar De La Hoya and Ryan Garcia carry on?
Boxing's so cruel.
What's he done? What's Garcia supposed to have done?
Mate, he's just been wild since he beat Devin Haney. He's been wild. Like it's been a daily car crash, mate. He needs to. Well, first and foremost, like you got to question the people that guy's got around him because I can't imagine any of the lads I know who box doing anything like that, and definitely not doing anything like that with me around them.
Yeah.
Like he should have, as soon as he won, he should have just gone home, just chill with his parents for about a week and laid low, and then come out when he was ready. Because now the genie's at the bottle now. Like, yeah, he's screwed. I failed the drug test. He's acting up now. He's going to serve his ban. Second half of this year, we're going to hear about his mental health rebound and all this sort of stuff. And yeah, sad to see.
Yeah. Shaka Stevenson, right? He's just had another easy win, but why aren't we getting him and Loma and Javonta Davis? Why are they not all getting at it? What's the problem here, Terry? Is it Bob Arum keeping people apart and milking it?
No. If you really look at it, a lot of those fights that have needed to happen have actually happened, Russ. Like, if you think, apart from Tank versus Loma and maybe Tank versus Shakur, a lot of the big fights have already happened. Maybe Teofimo Lopez at 140 needs to jump in a bit. But it's been more active in those two weight classes than it's been at 147 and then it's been in the heavyweights. That's for damn sure. Those guys are getting in. And Loma knows his time is up. I wouldn't be surprised if Shakur fights Loma at the end of this year.
Well, yeah.
No one would be surprised.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see what happens moving forward with that one. Daniel Jacobs, you reckon they should hang him up?
Should have done that a long time ago.
Keep digging him up, don't they?
He's a name. As long as you've got a name, yeah, because people know boxing fans are stupid. So they just take advantage of it.
Yeah, it's it's madness what's going on. Like, what do you think to this Terence Crawford carry on? He's going to fight that. Who is it? In a Madrim off or something, is it?
I don't mind that.
No.
Nah, do you know, there's certain fights I'll watch. It's like, oh, well, who else is Crawford going to fight? You've cleaned up at 147. I'm not interested in the Ennis fight, which is weird because I think there was a time when Ennis was relevant, and it just seems that his career has gone a bit stale. So I'm not that bothered if he doesn't fight Ennis. Then I'm like, well, who else is there left for him to fight? There's no one.
Yeah. Yeah, I see where you're coming from. I see, he's basically just beating everybody in here.
Yeah. So he's just really looking for fights that make sense financially. And it would have been someone like a Jamel Charlo would have been a good fight for him, but that doesn't seem to be happening. I don't think Charlo should have gone up to 168. Maybe he just needs to get himself together again before he fights Crawford. But we'll see. I don't know. And I just think, Crawford, right guy, wrong time.
You reckon Stevenson wants away from Bob Arum?
To go where? He's not entertaining enough.
Yeah.
Like, he's not a bums on seats sort of guy. Like, there's only people who read BoxRec who care about him.
He let Mayweather go, didn't he, Bob Arum?
Well, Mayweather bought himself out.
Yeah. Yeah. Mayweather want that for him, Mayweather.
He had good people around him that said, look, we can get you out this contract.
Yeah.
And they said, well, pay 750 grand and you're out. And he paid 750 grand. He bet on himself. I respect that.
Yeah, backs himself, didn't he?
And that's the difference for us. You got to back yourself in these games.
Yeah, it's yeah, to be fair to Mayweather, he did all right, didn't he?
He did all right for himself. Yeah, I saw a video of his the other day, just showing off all these Rolls Royces he's got. I'm like, how many do you need?
Yeah, why has he got all them?
I don't know, man. Might be for scrap metal.
It's for summer, isn't it? Do you want to go on to part 2, mate?
All right, mate. Let's do that.
Hey, mate. Please join us on part 2. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, if you like Porky's Corner, you'll like Porky's International YouTube. Check it out. Peace out. We'll see you on part 2.